Hello guys and welcome to this Raid Shadow Legends video. Today I'm going to show my team that does one key Alter Nightmare Clan Boss. That is going to be a Helicath Unkillable team where he goes in a 4-to-3 ratio to the Clan Boss and basically making you unkillable all of the time. Now, the block damage will be on for both AoEs, so you will not take any damage on the AoEs. Then he will place the shield before the stun. I have a version where this is booked, because if you can, do not book the cooldown of the skill. That is going to help you a lot, just so you know that. And it's probably worth not fully booking this to keep this on a 4-turn cooldown. Anyway, so the champions that I pair with him is first Martyr. She is incredibly good together with Helicath. Now we could use other counterattack champions instead, like Skull Crusher or Valk, I guess. I mean, those are the only ones, but you could use them instead. But Martyr brings the decreased defense, increased defense, counterattack. Yeah, she's very good paired with Helicath. Then, next champion we want is most likely gonna be Brogni. He will bring increased attack, block debuffs, the shield doesn't really matter. Then he can also, if you are struggling on building your Helicath powerful enough, then you can use this to increase the shield on him. Passive, doing some extra damage. Alright, next champion that we have is that's gonna be Krila. Now, I personally think Farkin the Fat is better than Krila, because Krila has an issue, and that is her A1. Her A1 places a shield on an ally with the lowest health for 2 turns, and this is going to be placed on your leader champion, because everyone has full health. And this can ruin the basically this shield that you get from Helicath. So Farkin is better, or any other ally attack champion that has ally attack on a 4-turn, basically. Now Krila only has this, well, can have this on a 3-turn cooldown, but personally I like using this skill here, increased attack, increased crit rate, because this way every champion can only have 70% crit rate and still be crit capped. Very good. Also she does a pretty good ally attack. Now for our main damage dealer, that is gonna be Frozen Banshee. You could use other poisoners as well, but she is my favorite, especially when you have counterattack. If you don't have counterattack, then I wouldn't personally use her. Well, you can still, but she's very good. Poison sensitivity, and A1 that places 2 poisons if the enemy has poison sensitivity. Very, very good. Alright, so let's talk about the gear first, I guess. Helicath. Now, what you mainly want is high defense. The higher the defense, the bigger the shield you will get. Speed can vary a little bit. You can try this out on the Deadwood Jedi and test out what suits your account. Then 70% crit rate and as much crit damage as you can, and enough accuracy to land the weaken debuff. Very good. Alright, next champion, that is gonna be Martyr. I built her with massive damage, though she's not the main damage dealer, with quite low health, at least under 40,000 damage, because she is gonna be the stun target. So the stun hit from the clan boss is gonna do damage based on the champion's health. So the lower health, the lower damage. So basically that, and build her with high defense and damage, and accuracy to land decreased defense. I built her lethal gear because that happened to fit in. Very good, very good. Alright, Brogni gear, basically same, build him with damage and whatever. I also built him with high health, because I want to use him in other places in the game. And some accuracy to land the HP burn, because why not? Krila, damage again, savage if you can, but if you can't, who cares? Just high damage, that's it. Frozen Banshee, high damage again, but mostly you want the accuracy, 70% crit, and that's mainly it. Alright. let us talk about the setup here. You know what? I can actually show you this. Boom. Here is the Deadwood Jedi Speed Calculator, and I put all my champions in here. And this is how the team is gonna work. Alright, so everything will go on auto after turn 2 or 3. I will show that in a run later. So basically, when things are settling in and things works completely fine, then things will look like this. Before AoE 1, you will place up a counterattack, increase defense with Martyr. Then Helicath will do block damage. He needs to go last here, or else you will lose block damage on some people. Because you need that block damage for both AoEs. Alright, so as you see, Helicath will actually lose the counterattack and the increased defense, but he will still counterattack because of his passive. That is pretty cool. Brogni, I haven't set the delays and stuff properly, but so yeah, Brogni, he can basically he can block the debuffs on the A2 and still cleanse the stun afterwards. I will show how I use this later. So yeah, anyways, let's talk about the next champion. Yeah, Martyr, she only does the shield, well, the counter attack. She does not do the decrease attack because it doesn't matter. Frost and Banshee, she does the poison sensitivity A1, and that's it. Rila has a little bit other setup as well, because you want to use the A3 ability right before the stun. So the delay is gonna be more like this, yeah. 3-turn delay. So because you really need to do this if you use Krila, because or else she will A1. And if she A1s after Helicath places the shield, then she will place a tiny shield and basically kill your teammate. Because she will place that on Martyr, she's a leader, and she will take a stun and you will die. Alright, let me go and find the run that I did. I recorded it earlier on, so we can skip and pause and everything like that. Hopefully things worked properly. Oh yeah, I tried to record a couple of videos here. Is this the one? Please. Okay, yeah. Now I found it. There we go. Here is the run. I opened this chest from yesterday. The void shard, I guess that's cool. So, hopefully I showed the team setup. I did not. Alright, let's quickly go here and show you the team setup. So, it's gonna look like this. This is very important because or else things will fall apart later on. You do not want to use Martyr's disabilities, you just turn it off, prioritize her counterattack. Helicath, you want to prioritize this, and this is secondary. If you don't do this, then everything will fall out of tune, especially if this is a 3-turn cooldown. Krila, you want to prioritize, well, I've done it like this. If you have this fully booked, then you wanna prioritize this, and then she counterattacks right after. So this is just my setup. I don't know why, but all right. Frost and Banshee, you do not want to use A2. Turn it off. Prioritize this, and then only A1s after that. Brogni prioritizes A2, then A3. Well, this doesn't really matter that much. You can switch it out, but it's the way you manual it at first, because both of these have 3-turn cooldown, and that is what I'm going to show you right now. Let's jump back to the video here. Choose this team. Now, because things are set up like this, you can auto the first turn. A1, block damage, sensitivity, that, and that. And actually, can I... Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Can't I show two things at once? Apparently I cannot show two things at once. So yeah, everyone counterattacks. Let's just take a look here so I don't miss anything. It's a little bit of a mess, sorry about that. And now comes the setup, where that is very important. Here we go. Here is the speed tune that you need and the manual things you have to manual. He will automatically do A1 first turn, Krilla. So the only Krilla and Helicath you need to do something special with. Krilla you need to manual A2, then manual A1, then she will A3. Helicath A3, A1, A2, A1. On affinity, if you are going against red affinity, then Brogni needs a little bit different setup. A1 opener, prioritize A3, then A2. Also, versus red affinity, Wasn't Banshee is very bad. You don't want to use her. Instead, you want to use a Cult Brawler or another not blue Poisoner, primarily. Alright, let's go back to the run here. So, she will A2 right now. Ally attack, there we go. He will A1. This is the part where if you have fully booked Helicath A2, then he will A2 there instead. But if you have the A2 fully booked, then you need a different champion. Then you need a buff extender in this specific setup. Alright, he will A2. And I believe everything is on auto right now. Yeah. Alright. Already a little bit over 1 million damage per turn. Look at that. Martyr was cleansed, but Brogni A2 cleanses the stun from Martyr. Here we go. So this team works the best against green affinity, because on green affinity all our blue champions is strong affinity, and also the green affinity boss hits multiple times. Against white we still do a lot of damage. Now yesterday was the green affinity, so I attacked the green affinity and I did over 100 million damage with this team. Alright. Now things are going pretty well. So let's pay attention to what people do after we see the stun go out, I think. Now it's gonna be the AoE2, I think. So yeah, look at that. Now every debuff is blocked. With counterattack, Tigger's defense weakens, a lot of poisons. Nice. There is the shield skill, and then you look at Krilla, it does her A3, so she doesn't place any stupid shields. We cleanse that debuff. We do counterattack, we do block damage. Everyone counterattacks, beautiful, and yeah, everything works like it should. High damage count. Okay, let's skip forward a bit. Turn 16, alright, things are going good. 20, we are almost doing 2 million damage per turn. And that's very high damage. So as you see, we are gonna do more than 1 key damage. And yes, my gear is pretty good, but oh, that's like, oh my god. But even with less gear, you can still 1 key wide pretty easily. So let's skip a little bit more forward to about let's see. Yeah, here we are at 1 key damage at turn 38 already. Yeah, we can look at the damage we do here. So a lot of the damage does come from poisons, the War Master procs, because we counterattack, we ally attack. So having insane gear only increases the damage so much. Of course, it helps doing overkill damage. You don't need more than 1 key damage. So I think this team is very solid if you have, especially if you have Martyr. Everyone else is replaceable. Brogni is best in slot. It's replaceable. Parik in the Fat is much easier and better to use than Trila. And does basically the same stuff, but I don't have him. So that's unfortunate. and it'll make it easier to not have random shields popping off. Like, look at this tiny shield that Martyr had. Alright. So let's see what happens, how much damage we get. Closing up to turn 50. Look at this. Amazing damage. We can look at the end of this. Counter attacks, boom. 90,000 damage, 68, 71, nice. Boom. Super high damage, 150 damage, 150 plus the counterattack from everyone, beautiful. And boom, everyone's dead, and here we go. This is the final damage, Frozen Banshee being the MVP. Surprisingly, Trila is doing the second most damage. I think the reason for this is because Helicath and Martyr probably has better build, but they have to use one of their abilities where they do not hit. The block damage does not hit anyone. Martyr's counterattack ability does not hit. So yeah, it's pretty good. Also, Brogni doing very high damage with his passive and everything. So yeah, I'm really happy with this team, and I'm gonna use this for a long time, I think. So alright, let's talk about the skill orders and stuff again. So here is the skill orders on Void, Green and Blue affinity. Everything works properly like this. But against the red affinity, as I said, Brogni needs a different setup here, because he needs to block, well, he's going to be the stun target this time around. He's going to be the stun target, so you need to have block debuffs on AoE 2, but you also need to increase your shield, and he is still going to have block debuffs when the stun hit him, so he will not be stunned at all. Increase the shield, making him even more tanky. Frozen Banshee, switch for Occult Brawler for more damage. Alright, versus Nightmare Affinity, you can have the same setup. I think I have this here. I think this is made for this, so for Nightmare, a little bit different here. Same speed, same everything. Oops. But for Nightmare, you need a little bit different setup. A1 basically doing the block damage 1 turn later. Brogni still, I start with A1 doing this 1 turn later. Trila, A3, A2. Yeah, that will work pretty nice. So if we just switch with the same speed as everything, switch to Nightmare, then eventually, as you see, things will fall into tune. Now the only downside here is that Martyr will place counterattack at the start of the turn, so you will not have counterattack on the second AoE. But if you 1-key Alter Nightmare, you're still gonna 1-key Nightmare even without counterattacks on AoE too, so I wouldn't care too much about that. But if you are targeting red affinity again, you need to switch out Frozen Banshee for Occult Brawler, and that should be it. Alright. So, if your Helicath is fully booked, basically his A2 is fully booked, then you need to do something different. Because, take a look here. Because he will do block damage here, then he will do his shield right here. And as you see, Martyr will take 2 turns after she's the stun target, and yeah, that will be a problem. Also, the boss will realize someone has a lot less shield than others and kill the target that he can possibly kill. So to counteract this, you need to make it another speed tune and not use Krila and whatnot, but that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm instead gonna use a buff extender. And this works very well with Brogni as well. Now, you can switch out Krila for a different buff extender with a 4-turn cooldown, or you can switch out Frozen Banshee, and that is probably gonna be my suggestion. Switch out Frozen Banshee. I know she's your main damage, but instead you can use Toxic Set on other people, and that's gonna help you with getting some damage back. So you're still gonna use the same people, Farkin, Brogni. So yeah, the buff extender is gonna take Frozen Banshee's spot. And the buff extension is gonna happen right here. Because this way you will extend the block debuffs buff. You are gonna extend the Helicath shield. You'll extend the increased attack, you will extend everything. So it's not a bad option at all. So yeah, this way Brogni can also do his A2 right before the stun, increasing the shield. And yeah, this will work against every single affinity. So if you have enough damage, you can still one key, then this is going to be your easiest setup. Shield overlapping, question mark, no, yeah, that's only if you use Krila, things are going to be potentially weird, but I don't think so. Hopefully not. Yeah, Krila can be a problem here because she might do some A1 here. Things might be screwed, so try to not use Krila if you have this setup. But yeah, toxic sets on people would help with the damage, getting some poisons out still. And yeah, worst case scenario, you have to 2-key with this kind of setup, but it will work much easier than any other setup, and it can work on any affinity, anything. Right, so I think I talked about everything, most things, yep. Now, let's talk about champions that you can use instead. Martyr, she is best in slot, but if you use Farkin the Fat, he will do, let me show you, he will, I think he's Is he a barbarian? Yeah, he's barbarian. So, he also has decreased defense on his A1. A little bit lower chance, but he will still place it. And this way, Martyr is not that important. And if you use Farkin the Fat instead, you can also use Skull Crusher as your ally attack, counterattack champion. Counterattacks, I really suggest using counterattack if you have it. It's gonna increase your damage by a lot. So Farkin together with Skull Crusher is going to be a very good option. Now, if you don't have Krila, yeah, Farkin is best. You can also use other counterattack, ally attack champions. Using Helicath is going to be difficult because he does a turn meter boost, and then you need to make your own setup with this. I think Skinwalker here, right? Longbed, he is another option as well. 4-turn cooldown, the same as Krila, can be used at the same time. Also, let's say some weaken, and this is probably good together with if your Helicath is fully booked. No, that's not what I mean. If your Helicath is not fully booked because you don't want to book your A2, but your A1 is not fully booked, you have a higher chance of placing weaken with him. So yeah, that's what I mean about that. So very good options for the ally attack champions. Who am I forgetting? Yeah, Brogni. Brogni is very good, but he is not that very needed. Now you could use some other champions that had block debuffs. So yeah, there's not really that many champions that has that. Let me see if I find someone. Of course, you want to use someone that has on a 3-turn cooldown and last 2 turns. Real few champions that actually has that. But yeah, you can choose what you have. Can I just find one example, please? Oh yeah, one example, that is going to be Riho. Remove all debuffs, place block debuff on all allies for 2 turns, and this is on a 3-turn cooldown. Example. So she can be used. She is also a good example because she has a lot of debuffs that you can throw out. Yeah, if you are gonna use another debuffer like this, though, I mean a block buff debuff. I mean, what am I saying? Block buff. If you're gonna use another one, you are missing out on the increased attack. And if you're doing that, then I really suggest using Krilla, because Krilla does the increased attack that you really want and need. Okay, now I'm struggling to think about stuff. Yeah, Frozen Banshee, damage dealer. You can use other poisoners. Now, you could use Kale, and he's not gonna do as much damage. You can use, I mean, Occult Brawler only works against red affinity, in my opinion, or else he's gonna take the stun, because then it's gonna be weak affinity, so we really want a blue affinity champion. Now, you could use this guy, who's that? Dracomorph. He's a very good poisoner on a 3-turn cooldown as well, and he does massive damage. And he's also especially good if you are struggling with placing the weaken and decrease defense, if you don't have Parakin, and if you are not able to fully book your Helicath to place the weaken, then he can do weaken and decrease defense to help you out a bit as well. All on a 3-turn cooldown, very good. So yeah, that's mainly gonna be it for this video. If you have questions, then please leave them in the comments. And then, you know, I know things can be a little bit difficult when you're looking at it in this way, but yeah, personally I find this team really fun to use, and getting 94 million damage against Ultra Nightmare on 1 key is very, very fun. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you liked, then leave a like, and if you really liked it, then you can subscribe if you want that. And also, if you feel like this team is something for one of your clan members or something, then feel free to link the video in your clan chat or whatever. That would help me out a lot. And if you have problems with the team, then just ask me, add me on Discord or something, because I help people all the time. And I also can do a paid takeover. If you want that, then I can build the entire team for you. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Leave a like, subscribe, and I see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.